Hello and welcome back to the David67 Celtic News YouTube channel. A brilliant day to wake up as a Celtic fan. A pretty amazing 2-1 win over Rangers yesterday in the hot sun of Glasgow, in a hot game full of pretty much everything you'd ever want in a game of football. Goals, excitement, controversy, penalties given, penalties not given, a red card, near misses, lots and lots of tension at the end, which I could have done without. And overall, a very good team performance with lots of good individual performances. Few players I thought were a wee bit under par, and that will reflect in the match ratings I do later on in this video. So this video is going to be a review of the stats, analysis. We've also got a 5-6 minute clip of the highlights of the game, mixture of Sky Sports highlights and BBC Scotland sports scene highlights, with copyright disclaimers and a wee backing track of crowd noise. And also going to have a wee chat about the key incidents of the game, and then a wee look at the next week or so, where we are on the verge of the title. So now 6 points clear, 7 goals better in goal difference. So a point on Wednesday at Kilmarnock gives us the title. Technically, if Rangers drop to a draw or a loss against Dundee on Tuesday, then the title is ours without a ball being kicked. And if we don't get the point against Kilmarnock, I think the home game against St Mirren, with 60-odd thousand Celtic fans, and by then St Mirren pretty much nothing to play for, should see Celtic very happily to the title. However, I'm very, very optimistic, hopeful, and expecting Celtic will get a point or 3 on Wednesday to give us a title. So just a few wee stats regarding the game. Celtic had 22 shots to Rangers 8, 68%, 32% possession. We had 6 shots on target to their 1. We had 482 accurate passes to their 170. Celtic had 4 shots blocked. Butland had 6 saves to make. Hart had no saves to make. In essence, Rangers' one and only shot on target was the Dessers header that put them back into the game at 2-1. Celtic blocked 4 shots, Rangers blocked 8 shots. I think that pretty much shows that Celtic were massively on top in this game. Now, partly that's due to Rangers going down to 10 men, but even before then, Celtic were well ahead with shots on target, and possession and passes. So I was a wee bit bemused with Felipe Clemente's post-match assertions and protests that Rangers were very much in the game, should have been going in 2-2 at half time. Admittedly, we did have Silva smashing the ball across the goal, but it missed by a long way. And similarly, Alistair Johnson managed to do just enough to knock him off his stride at the back post, and his header again was well wide of the goal. So if those were the 2 other goals that Clemente was expecting in the first half, both were pretty major misses, not really troubling Joe Hart, and I'm pretty sure had either shot by Silva been on goal, Hart would easily have saved it. So just thought it would be fun to pop in some highlights of the game, and then we can get back to looking at the big incidents, some player ratings, and also a bit of how things are going to go over the next week or so towards the title, and then the week after with the cup final, where I think Celtic are favourites to do the double against a bit of a demoralised, dispirited, dejected Rangers side. And I think the cup final will be the last time we see quite a number of this Rangers squad. So Fabio Silva's back off to Wolves, Lundstrom, Barisic, almost certainly out the club for them. I think quite a number of their players will be moving on. We will also see the back of Goldson and Tavernier as Gerrard seems to want to sign them next season for Saudi League football. And so also expect it's the absolute last time we see Lundstrom in a Rangers strip, partly due to the fact that he got red carded, so we'll miss a couple of games. And then also I think that with the fact that Lundstrom is 99% leaving the club, I don't think Clement will want him in the side due to a combination of that and the fact that he was a major factor in Rangers losing yesterday. So, going to pop in those highlights and then we'll come back with a chat about the key incidents and the player ratings, etc. So, enjoy. So, hopefully enjoyed those highlights. Goals, offsides, free kicks, near misses, red cards, VAR, bit of controversy, penalty given, penalty not given, and a couple of great goals and a bit of poor defending. And then the last 30 seconds or so of frantic goal box clearances. And we got our deserved 2-1 win. So just going to do the player ratings now. Now, given two players, 6 out of 10, Greg Taylor and Adam Ida. Greg Taylor, I thought, was partly at fault for the Rangers' goal. Didn't really get up at the back post to get in the way of Sterling. Could have done a bit better there. Adam Ida missed some good chances. Also, I thought he was a wee bit greedy in the time that he was clean through with a few minutes to go, and he screwed a left-footed shot across the goal. There were a couple of Celtic players he could have passed to, and I think had he cut the ball back to the centre of the box, there was an easy finish and a very, very likely goal to be had. So they all got 6s. 6.5 for Anthony Ralston, Joe Hart, Nicholas Kuhn and Rio Hatate. Ralston did fine for the wee period he came on. Isn't really as good getting forward as Alistair Johnston. Did defend quite nicely. Stopped there being much of a threat down the left side from Yilmaz late on. Hart didn't really have very much to do. I thought he could have done a wee bit better getting to the cross to Sterling at the back post. I think he could have done a wee better to block out Deser's header, but otherwise didn't have much to do. And what he did have to do in terms of distribution, getting the ball restarted, did fine. Nicholas Kuhn came on, a couple of very nice runs, nearly scored with a shot that got deflected over the bar, but then kind of died out the game, I thought, and he could really have done more to have come back to help out midfield and defence, and could have also broken forward better into the space that was there when Rangers tried to go all-out attack. Rio Hatate, a bit disappointed actually with Rio Hatate. Was expecting more of him yesterday. Couple of shots that weren't really goal threats, a few nice passes, but didn't really quite play so well as O'Reilly or McGregor, and however did track back to allow McGregor to go forward, and I thought those two did that dovetailing very well. So 6.5s for them. 7s for Liam Scales, James Forrest, Tomoki Iwata and Kyogo. Liam Scales, apart from his passing and distribution, I thought had a very, very good game. Back to his form of last year in the season from August up to January. James Forrest, again, quite a lot of nice attacks and breaks down the right-hand side. Did come back to help in midfield and not so much getting back to help in the right back position. And I think that was partly due to partly because of Alistair Johnston being overloaded with Silva attacking them and then Barisic going round the back. I think Forrest should really have been tracking back to block off Barisic and Fabio Silva in conjunction with Johnston. However, did have a few nice touches, passes, and attempts. Tomoki Iwata, I think, came on and did his usual Tomoki Iwata job, kept things tidied up in midfield, some nice interceptions and blocks and interlinking, and did a few times bomb forward to try and get into the attacking zone, but his runs were never really picked up by Kuhn or Ida or O'Reilly. Kyogo, bit of a quiet game, not quite his usual Rangers Celtic matches, but did nearly score with a lovely turning shot that Butland managed to save very well. And very expectant that Kyogo will get more goals in the next 3 matches, including winning the Cup final for us. So 7 out of 10 for those 4. 7.5 for Alistair Johnson and Cameron Carter-Vickers. Particularly impressed with Cameron Carter-Vickers' distribution. Felt he could have done a bit more again to block out Dessers in the middle for the header where they scored, but a lot of good blocks otherwise, a lot of good tackling, a lot of good intercepting, and did, I think, have an excellent role distributing the ball and, of course, set up the second goal with his pass to Maeda. Alistair Johnson, I thought, did a really good job. A lot of good defending. He was a couple of times overloaded on the left because of lack of midfield and wide player cover, but I thought he worked very hard in midfield and got forward a lot to make some nice crosses, and a couple of times nearly set up goals. So 7.5 for those two. Guys in Maeda, very hard working, set up the second goal, had 2 offside goals disallowed. So we've given him 8 out of 10. 8.5 for Matt O'Reilly. I think a lot of people had him as man of the match, but I've given him 8.5 and 9 to Callum McGregor. Matt O'Reilly, I've taken a wee half mark off for missing that penalty. Otherwise, he was everywhere. Several nice shots on goal. Nearly scored with a free kick. Nearly scored with a left-sided shot. Got us the penalty. Got the first goal. So 8.5 for Matt O'Reilly and 9 for Callum McGregor. I thought he led the team exceedingly well. He was all over the pitch. He was a midfield maestro, setting things up, blocking things off, getting back to defend. And I think it was quite fitting that the final clearance was Callum McGregor heading out the ball, out the box at the final whistle. And so I've given him 9 out of 10 for a man of the match performance. Now, just moving on to some of the key moments. As I said, Matt O'Reilly scored an excellent first goal. Nice bit of interchanging wide out. Then Callum McGregor, absolutely brilliant run into the box, turning, knocking the ball back to O'Reilly, and a beautiful shot, unstoppable to Jack Butland's left through a wee ruck of players. Brilliant goal for Matt O'Reilly there. Just a couple of minutes later, lovely ball, as I said, from Cameron Carter-Vickers from basically the edge of his box to the edge of Rangers' box, bang on a target for Dyson Maeda, who took it in his stride, completely flummoxed and fooled Tavernier yet again. Nice cross into the box, and Lundstrom rushing back, trying to cover the ball into the midfield, kick the ball into his own net. Oh, how very sad. So 2-0 up there. I was saying to myself as I was watching the game, please just hold on to half-time. 2-0 up. Rangers are going to be really under the pressure. Just a couple of minutes of good defending, gets to half-time, and we'll all be happy. But literally from the kick-off, they got the ball out wide. As I said, James Forrest didn't track back, which then allowed Silva and Barisic to have an overlap on the left. Sterling got much higher up than Taylor. Did use Taylor's shoulders a wee bit to push him down, but not really enough to be a foul, I don't think. And then, as I said, Scales and Carter-Vickers and Hart kind of all got in each other's way, all kind of left the ball for each other, and Dessers did nod the ball in, put that 2-1. Then, of course, there was one of probably the most pivotal moment of the match. Absolutely horrendous tackle by John Lundstrom on Alistair Johnston. It was at incredible pace. He slid from a long distance, completely reckless, two-footed challenge, nowhere near the ball, and his right foot smashed straight into Alistair Johnston's ankle and shin calf area. Now, despite what Kenny Miller might say, I was screaming and shouting red card, red card, red card, and various other less acceptable words at the TV screen at that point. So I was 100% demanding a red card, no matter what Kenny Miller might say. It was the kind of horror tackles that I used to see in the early 70s into the 80s of the bad old days of football, where you could get away with kicking people right, left, and centre. It was a red card challenge all the time. Bit surprised that Willie Collum got the yellow card out, but I was 100% certain that VAR was going to get him to upgrade that to a red, and quite rightly it was. And to give Clement some credit, he fully accepts that was a red card. And I don't think anybody apart from Kenny Miller disagrees. Penalty kick for Matt O'Reilly. I think it was a clear penalty. I heard a little story from somebody talking about soft-boiled eggs and hard-boiled eggs. I would say it was a soft-boiled egg, but it still was a boiled egg, and so still a penalty kick. Diamandi did clip Matt O'Reilly from the back, knocked him off his stride. While he was just about to shoot for goal, and so he was slightly more off balance than ordinarily. So the clipping of the heels in the back of the leg caused him to go over in the box. Couldn't quite understand why VAR was asking Collum to have a look again, but he did, and still gave the penalty. So credit to Willie Collum there, who I think overall had a good game. I don't think there was many decisions in the end I would have disagreed with. Was a wee bit lenient, I thought, with Rangers' yellow cards. I thought Diamandi, Raskin especially got away with a lot of fouls in midfield. However, nothing too awful. Also, was quite surprised that the Dujon Sterling handball in the box wasn't even properly looked at. You can see that Johnston's cross does catch Sterling's hand. For me, he just actually moves his hand out a wee bit towards the ball. It's getting his hand away from his side of his body, and I think it would be, again, could have been looked at as a penalty. It would appear that VAR very quickly moved past it, and did notice that Johnston, and I think it was Kyogo in the middle, certainly one of the Japanese players, was appealing for the penalty, and I think it was one where Colin wouldn't have been able to see it properly, but VAR probably should have got him to have a look at that and see about a second Celtic penalty. Dyson Maeda, a bit disappointing. 2 times he was actually in the clear, unmarked. He should really have waited half a second, kept himself onside, and then he would have scored 2 goals. With his pace, I think he can actually wait that extra half second that other players can't. And so, a bit disappointing that Maeda didn't get one or both of those goals. Otherwise, it would have done my nerves a tremendous amount of good. And as finally, did feel after Celtic took off Kyogo and took off Forrest and took off Alistair Johnston, that things did get a wee bit disorganised, a wee bit panicky at the back. Rangers managed to get the ball forward a few times, but however, no real actual chances. A bit of a goalmouth scramble at one of the corners, another bit of a goalmouth scramble at another corner, but I think Celtic otherwise defended very, very well. Was a bit disappointing that we let them get a bit of a foothold in the game in the last 20 minutes, and it was a bit disappointing that when we did get the ball in the break, the players like Kuhn, Ida, Maeda, O'Reilly didn't really take advantage of that much bigger space at the back. So that just about finishes things off for today. Wonderful day yesterday for Celtic, a wonderful day today to be a Celtic supporter, and I'm also looking forward to hopefully seeing the Celtic women's side extending their lead at the top of the Women's League between 12 and 2 this afternoon, on their way hopefully to the title as well. So just to finish off, please do, if you haven't subscribed already, consider getting the subscriber numbers boosted up towards 500. That'd be brilliant. like the video for like the video, and do feel free to pop your comments into the comment section. And I'll be back tomorrow with another video, another wee chat about the men's team and a wee chat about the women's team after their game against Partick Thistle. And so until tomorrow, goodbye and hail, hail.